Hello, little dreamers. I'm Luna. Welcome to Luna Bedtime Story. Tonight, we'll journey into a world of gentle adventures, kind hearts, and peaceful dreams. If you'd like a new bedtime story waiting for you every week, don't forget to subscribe and join our cozy little family. Now, get comfortable. Snuggle into your favorite blanket. Let your shoulders relax. Close your eyes. Let's begin our story.
The Last Firefly of Clover Meadow. Chapter 1. A Light Alone. The meadow rested between two low hills. A narrow stream curved along one side. An old country road passed along the other. No carts used the road at night. No people crossed the meadow after sunset. When evening came, the whole place became still. Clover grew across most of the ground. Clover was a small green plant with 3 round leaves on each stem. In spring and summer, it produced soft white flowers. Bees visited those flowers during the day. Rabbits ate the tender leaves in the early morning. At night, silver drops of dew gathered upon them. Near the middle of the meadow stood an old gray stone. The stone was broad and flat. Rain had washed its surface smooth, but its lower edges were rough. Green moss covered one side. Beneath the stone were tiny spaces where beetles and woodlice slept. On the warmest nights of summer, a little firefly rested on the moss. His name was Flicker. Flicker was smaller than the tip of a person's thumb. He had 2 clear wings, 6 thin legs, and a dark brown body. Near the end of his body was a special part that gave off a gentle golden light. That light was not hot like a candle flame. It could not burn a leaf or warm a cold paw. It was a cool, quiet light made by Flicker's own body. When Flicker felt cheerful, the light shone brightly. When he felt afraid, it flashed quickly. When he felt sad, it became faint. Long ago, many fireflies had lived in Clover Meadow. The oldest creatures still remembered them. The frogs said that hundreds of golden lights once floated above the stream. The crickets said that the lights had moved through the grass like stars carried on a soft wind. Flicker had never seen those nights. Ever since he could remember, he had flown alone. Each evening, he left the old stone and searched the meadow. He looked near the stream. He looked among the wildflowers. He looked beside the hedges that grew along the country road. No other firefly answered his light. On one quiet summer night, Flicker rose from the moss and began his usual flight. The setting sun had left a pale pink glow above the western hill. That glow slowly faded. The sky changed from pink to purple, and then from purple to deep blue. Flicker flew above the clover. He flashed his golden light once. Then he waited. The clover leaves moved gently below him. A cricket sang from beneath a fallen twig. Far away, a frog made a low sound beside the stream. No golden light answered. Flicker flew a little farther. He flashed twice. Again he waited. Only the first stars appeared above the eastern hill. "I must be the last firefly in Clover Meadow," he whispered. His light became faint. Flicker did not want to be the last. He wanted to meet someone who understood what it felt like to float above the grass. He wanted a friend who could answer his light with another light. He continued across the meadow until he reached the stream. The stream was narrow enough for a rabbit to jump across. Smooth stones rested beneath its clear water. Small fish hid in the deeper places during the day. At night, the stream reflected the sky. Flicker hovered above it and looked at his reflection. The water showed a tiny golden point surrounded by darkness. For a moment, he pretended that the reflection was another firefly. He moved to the left. The little light in the water moved with him. He moved to the right, the light followed. Flicker knew it was only his own reflection. Still, he stayed there for a while. It was comforting to see another golden glow. It even felt as if it came from the water. The moon rose above the hill. Its light spread across the meadow and touched the tops of the clover flowers. The flowers looked pale and soft beneath it. Flicker returned to the old stone. He landed on the moss and folded his wings. Around him, the meadow rested peacefully. Nothing was wrong with the quiet night, but the quiet felt very large. Flicker looked up at the stars. There were more stars than he could count. Some were bright, while others were difficult to see. Each one seemed to have a place in the sky. "I wish I knew where my place was," Flicker said. A warm breeze passed over the stone. It moved the clover in long, gentle waves. Flicker lowered his head. His light faded until it was only a small golden dot. Then he closed his eyes and went to sleep. He did not know that someone had seen him flying alone. He did not know that she had watched his light from a cottage window. Most of all, he did not know that the next evening would bring the beginning of a journey. Chapter 2. The cottage at the meadow's edge. The cottage had been built from pale brown stones. A red roof protected it from rain. A brick chimney rose from one end. 4 square windows looked out across the garden and the meadow beyond. A wooden porch stood beside the front door. The porch was a covered place where people could sit outside. It had a smooth floor, 2 strong posts, and a long wooden bench. A climbing rose grew around one post, but its flowers had closed for the night. A girl named Lily lived in the cottage. Lily was 9 years old. She had dark, wavy hair. She had thoughtful brown eyes. She liked to move carefully. Careful steps allowed her to notice small things. During the day, Lily watched bees enter flowers. She studied snail trails after rain. She knew where the smallest birds built their nests. Lily never caught the creatures she observed. She believed that every living thing should be allowed to return safely to its home. Lily lived with her grandmother. Her grandmother's name was Rose. Grandmother Rose had silver hair which she wore in a loose knot. Fine lines rested around her eyes because she had smiled and laughed for many years. She walked slowly, but she noticed almost as much as Lily did. Rose knew the names of many plants. She could tell which bird was singing without seeing it. She also knew old stories about the countryside. On the morning after Flicker's lonely flight, Lily and Rose worked in their garden. The garden was a small area surrounded by a low wooden fence. Lavender grew near the gate. Mint and rosemary filled a bed beside the kitchen wall. Yellow flowers stood beneath the windows. Lily carried a watering can. The watering can was a round metal container with a handle on top. A long hollow spout reached from its side. Water flowed through the spout and fell gently upon the plants. Lily filled it from a rain barrel. The rain barrel was a large wooden container beneath the roof. It collected clean water whenever rain ran down the cottage gutters. Lily watered each plant slowly. When she reached the lavender, she noticed a small spiderweb between 2 stems. A drop of water rested in the middle of the web. She moved the watering can away. "There is a web here." Rose came closer and looked. "So there is. Thank you." They finished their work before the sun became too warm. Later, they prepared bread, cheese, and vegetable soup for supper. The soup cooked slowly in a deep pot. Its warm smell filled the kitchen. When evening arrived, Lily opened the window facing the meadow. She remembered the tiny light she had seen the night before. "Grandmother, may we sit on the porch after supper?" she asked. "Of course," Rose replied. When the dishes were clean, they carried 2 cushions outside. Rose placed the cushions on the wooden bench. Lily sat beside her. The western sky was still golden. Slowly, the gold faded into pink. Shadows lengthened beneath the garden plants. The first crickets began to sing. Lily watched the meadow. For several minutes, she saw only the darkening clover. Then a tiny golden light appeared near the old stone. "There he is," Lily said softly. Grandmother Rose followed her gaze. Flicker rose above the clover. He flashed his light. Then he hovered as if he were waiting for an answer. None came. He moved toward the stream and flashed again. Lily watched the small light cross the meadow. "He does this every night." "What does he do?" "He shines and waits." Rose looked more closely. Perhaps he is searching for someone. Lily rested her hands in her lap. She did not want to frighten the firefly by running toward him. "Do you remember when there were many fireflies here?" she asked. "Yes," Rose said. "When I was a child, the meadow was filled with them." Rose spoke slowly, allowing the memory to return. "On warm summer nights, my sister and I sat near the garden gate. We watched the fireflies rise from the grass. There were so many lights that we could not follow any one of them for long." "What happened to them?" Lily asked. "I do not know," Rose replied. "Some may have moved to quieter fields. Others may be hiding in places we have forgotten to visit." Lily looked toward Flicker. He appeared very small in the wide meadow. "Do you think he believes he is alone?" "He may," said Rose. Lily thought about being the only child in a large, dark field. Even if the field were safe, she would feel lonely. "We should help him," she said. Grandmother Rose did not laugh at the idea. Instead, she considered it carefully. "A person must be gentle when offering help to a small creature," she said. "We should meet him slowly. We should let him decide whether he trusts us." Lily nodded. The next evening, they would sit near the old stone. They would speak softly and remain still. If Flicker came close, they would introduce themselves. For the rest of that night, Lily watched him search. This time, his lonely light did not make her feel only sad. It also made her feel hopeful. Flicker did not know it yet, but two kind friends were preparing to meet him. Chapter 3. A promise beside the old stone. Soft clouds moved across the sky. Their shadows traveled over Clover Meadow. Bees visited the flowers, and swallows flew above the cottage roof. Lily waited patiently for evening. Before sunset, Grandmother Rose prepared a small traveling bag. The bag was made of strong brown cloth. It had one wide strap, 2 pockets, and a wooden button. Rose placed a bottle of water inside it. She also packed bread, 2 apples, and a square blue blanket. The blanket was soft and thick. Rose had sewn it when Lily was very young. Small white flowers were stitched around its edges. "We will not travel far tonight," Rose explained. "Still, it is wise to carry simple things that may bring comfort." When the shadows grew long, Lily and Rose walked into the meadow. They followed a narrow path through the clover. Rabbits and other small animals had made the path by using the same route again and again. Rose carried the traveling bag. Lily carried a glass jar, but it was not meant for catching Flicker. The jar was wide and clean. Several holes had been placed in its metal lid. Inside the jar were a few fresh clover leaves. Lily hoped the jar could offer Flicker a safe place to rest if he became tired during a future journey. They reached the old stone before darkness covered the meadow. Lily spread the blue blanket on the ground. She and Rose sat upon it with their hands resting quietly in their laps. The sky deepened from blue to purple. Soon, Flicker awoke beneath a clover leaf near the stone. He stretched his wings. Then he noticed the 2 people. Flicker became very still. He knew humans lived in the cottage, but he had never been close to one. Their hands seemed large enough to cover him. Their feet were larger than the old stone. His light flashed quickly with alarm. Lily saw the frightened flashes. "We will not hurt you." Flicker remained beneath the leaf. "My name is Lily," she continued. "This is my grandmother Rose. We have seen you flying above the meadow." Grandmother Rose smiled without moving closer. "Good evening, little one." Flicker looked at their faces. Lily's expression was gentle. Rose's voice was calm. Neither of them tried to touch him. Slowly, Flicker came out from beneath the leaf. He rose a short distance into the air. "Good evening." His voice was so small that Lily had to listen carefully. "We hope to meet you," she told him. "Why? Because you seem lonely." Flicker's light dimmed. He landed on the top of the old stone. The moss felt familiar beneath his feet, and that helped him feel safe. "I am the last Firefly in Clover Meadow," he said. Lily waited before answering. "How long have you been the last?" she asked. "For as long as I can remember." "Have you searched beyond the meadow?" Flicker turned toward the dark line of the distant hills. "No," he admitted. "The countryside is very large. I would not know where to begin." Grandmother Rose opened the traveling bag. She showed him the bottle of water and the food. Then Lily showed him the glass jar. "This jar is not a cage," she explained. "It is a little resting place. We would keep the lid open unless you wanted protection from strong wind." Flicker flew around the jar. He inspected the holes in the lid and the soft clover leaves inside. It did look like a comfortable place to rest. "Why did you bring these things?" he asked. Lily smiled. "Because we would like to help you search the countryside." Flicker's golden light grew brighter. "You would come with me?" "We would," Rose said. "I know the old paths." Lily has sharp eyes. "You can search the places that are too small for us to enter." Flicker looked across the meadow. The darkness beyond it no longer seemed quite as frightening. He imagined traveling with people who knew the way. He imagined finding another golden light. "When would we leave?" he asked. "Tomorrow evening." Flicker flew in a small circle above the stone. He felt excited, but he also felt afraid. Hope was new to him. It made his heart beat quickly. "What if we do not find any fireflies?" he asked. "Then we will return home together," Lily replied. "You will still have friends." Flicker became very still. No one had ever called him a friend before. His light shone so brightly that it painted a golden circle upon the stone. Grandmother Rose closed the traveling bag. Lily carefully placed the glass jar beside it. The plan was simple. They would leave Clover Meadow and follow the stream to Moonwater Pond. From there, an old path passed through an orchard and a forest. Beyond the forest stood a hill from which they could study the countryside. They would move slowly. They would stop often. They would not hurry through any place. Flicker listened to each part of the plan. At last he nodded. "I will meet you here tomorrow." Lily and Rose stood and folded the blue blanket. As they returned to the cottage, Flicker flew above them for part of the way. His light traveled beside them like a small golden lantern. That night, he did not search the meadow alone. Instead, he rested on the windowsill outside Lily's room. Lily could see his glow beyond the glass. Flicker could see the warm candle beside her bed. Two different lights shone on opposite sides of the window. Neither light was alone. Chapter 4. Moonwater Pond. Lily wore a soft green coat. The countryside could become cool after midnight. Rose wore a gray shawl around her shoulders. The shawl was a large piece of woolen cloth. It kept the evening air from feeling cold. Rose carried the traveling bag. Lily carried the glass jar. Flicker flew beside them as they left Clover Meadow. They followed the stream westward. At first, the path was familiar. Clover grew on one side and the quiet water flowed on the other. After a while, the meadow narrowed. Taller grasses replaced the clover. Rose explained that the grasses grew well near wet ground. Their long green blades bent over the stream, creating sheltered places for frogs and insects. The travelers moved slowly. Lily stepped around sleeping flowers. Rose used a smooth walking stick to test the ground before her. The walking stick was a strong branch that had been cut and polished. It helped Rose keep her balance on rough paths. Flicker searched the grass as they traveled. Whenever he saw a pale shape, he flew closer. Sometimes the shape was a flower. Sometimes it was a moth resting with folded wings. None of them was another firefly. At last, the stream widened. The banks curved away from one another until the narrow waterway became Moonwater Pond. The pond rested in a shallow hollow among the fields. Tall reeds grew around its edges. The reeds had straight green stems and long pointed leaves. Their roots held the wet soil together. Water lilies floated near the center of the pond. Each water lily had a broad, round leaf that rested upon the surface. A few white flowers rose above the leaves. Their petals had begun to close for the night. The moon appeared in the darkening sky. Its reflection formed a pale silver circle upon the pond. Flicker flew along the bank. He looked between the reeds. He searched beneath the willow branches that hung over the water. Then he flew above the water lilies. No fireflies appeared. His light grew faint. Lily noticed. "We have only just begun," she reminded him. Flicker nodded, but he remained disappointed. Then something moved beneath the water. A small silver light passed under a lily leaf. Another light followed it. Soon, several thin glimmers crossed the shallow part of the pond. Flicker stopped in the air. "What are those?" Rose and Lily knelt near the bank. Small fish were swimming beneath the surface. Their scales caught the moonlight whenever they turned. The fish did not make their own light. Their shining scales reflected the brightness above them. With each gentle movement, they sent little flashes through the water. "The pond is holding the moonlight," Lily said. Flicker flew lower. The fish moved together in a slow circle. Their silver flashes appeared and disappeared between the dark leaves. A frog sat on a smooth stone near the water. The frog had green skin, round golden eyes, and long back legs. Those legs allowed him to jump from the bank into the pond. "Good evening." Flicker turned toward him. "Have you seen fireflies?" "Not for a long time," the frog replied. "But we have many quiet lights." He pointed with one webbed foot. On the far bank, drops of dew covered a spider web stretched between two reeds. The dew reflected the moon. The whole web looked like a silver net. Near the web, the pale water lily flowers reflected the same light. Above them, the fish continued to flash beneath the surface. Flicker looked slowly around the pond. He had come searching for golden lights like his own. Instead, he had found silver light in water, flowers, and drops of dew.
"It is beautiful," he said. The frog gave a pleased croak. Lily spread the blue blanket beneath the willow tree. The travelers rested there while Rose poured water into a small wooden cup. The cup had been carved from a single piece of wood. It was light enough to carry and strong enough to use many times. Lily drank first, then Rose took a drink. Flicker rested on the edge of the cup and touched the water with his feet. The pond remained calm. The reeds whispered whenever the breeze passed through them. The silver fish swam beneath the moon.
No one felt the need to speak for a while. When it was time to leave, Flicker looked back. He had not found another firefly, but the visit had not been empty. "I thought light had to shine by itself," he said. "I did not know it could be carried by water." "Light often appears in unexpected ways," Rose replied. They folded the blanket and returned to the path. Behind them, Moonwater Pond continued to hold the moon upon its quiet surface. Chapter 5. The Lanterns of Apple Orchard. A stone wall crossed the low hillside. The wall had been built by placing flat stones carefully on top of one another. No cement held them together. Their weight and shape kept them in place. A wooden gate stood in the middle of the wall. Grandmother Rose lifted the latch and opened it. On the other side was Apple Orchard. An orchard was a piece of land where fruit trees had been planted in neat rows. The trees in this orchard were old. Their trunks were thick, and many branches curved toward the ground. Small green apples hung among the leaves. The apples were not ready to eat. They needed more summer sun before they would become sweet. A grassy lane passed between the rows of trees. Rose knew that it led toward the orchard keeper's cottage on the far side. The travelers followed the lane. The air smelled of leaves, earth, and growing fruit. The orchard felt protected because the branches formed a roof above the path. Flicker flew from tree to tree. He searched beneath the leaves. He examined holes in the old trunks. He rose above the branches and looked across the rows. Still, no other firefly answered him. Then Lily saw a warm glow ahead. "One light," she whispered. Flicker hurried toward it. A second light appeared farther down the lane, then a third glowed between two trees. The lights were golden, but they did not move. When the travelers came closer, they saw that the light came from lanterns. Each lantern had a square metal frame. Clear glass covered its four sides. A small candle burned safely inside. The glass protected the flame from the wind. A curved handle allowed each lantern to hang from a low branch. "The orchard keeper must have left them for us," Rose said. The orchard keeper was an elderly man named Thomas. He cared for the trees, repaired the stone walls, and gathered the apples when autumn came. Rose had known him for many years. A short figure appeared farther along the lane. Thomas carried another lantern in one hand. He had a round face, a white beard, and a brown hat. His walk was slow and steady. "Good evening, Rose." "Good evening, Thomas." Rose had told him about their journey that afternoon. He had placed the lanterns along the lane so they could cross safely. Thomas stopped beside them. "So this is the traveler. So this is the little traveler," he said. Flicker hovered near Lily's shoulder. "Have you seen fireflies?" Thomas thought carefully. "I have seen a few in past summers, but none this year." Flicker lowered his head. Thomas noticed the change in his light. "The orchard still has lessons to share," he said gently. "Come with me." He led them to the oldest apple tree. The tree had a wide trunk with a hollow opening near the ground. Inside the opening stood a lantern much smaller than the others. Thomas explained that he used the small lantern while checking the trees at night. Because its light was gentle, it did not disturb the sleeping birds. He placed it inside the hollow so they could see the old wood. Tiny beetles moved through narrow paths beneath the bark. A field mouse had made a nest of dry grass in one corner. "The light helps me look," Thomas said, "but I use only as much as I need." Flicker watched the small flame. One lantern guided the travelers along the lane. Another helped Thomas care for the trees. The smallest lantern revealed a hidden home without harming it. Each light had a purpose. As they continued through the orchard, the lanterns glowed one after another. No single lantern lit the whole place. Each one brightened a short part of the path. Lily and Rose could always see where to place their next step. Flicker flew beside them. "I used to think a small light did not matter," he said. Lily looked at the golden glow near his body. Would the path be the same if one lantern were missing? Flicker looked back. The lantern behind them lit a patch of grass and the roots of two trees. Without it, that part of the lane would have been dark. No, he replied, it would not be the same. Then a small light matters, Lily said. At the far gate, Thomas gave Lily 2 ripe apples from the orchard storehouse. These apples had been saved from the previous autumn in a cool cellar. Lily placed them in the traveling bag. They thanked Thomas for the lanterns. As the travelers left, Flicker turned for one final look. The warm lights hung among the branches. They made the old orchard feel safe and welcoming. He had not found another firefly there. Yet he left with his own light shining more brightly than before. Chapter 6. The glow beneath the trees. The forest was called Fernwood because large green ferns covered its floor. Ferns were plants with long leaves divided into many small parts. They enjoyed the cool shade beneath the trees. At the forest's edge, oak and beech trees stood close together. The oak trees had rough bark and twisting branches. The beech trees had smoother gray trunks. Their leaves formed a thick roof that hid much of the sky. A narrow path entered between them. Before stepping into the forest, Rose opened the traveling bag. She removed a hand lamp. The hand lamp was a small metal container with a candle inside. Unlike the orchard lanterns, it had one round glass window. A handle on top allowed Rose to carry it. She lit the candle with a match. The warm glow showed the stones and roots upon the path. "We will use this lamp until our eyes become used to the forest," she explained. They entered slowly. The sounds of the open countryside faded. Leaves rustled above them. An owl called from a distant branch. Flicker remained close to Lily. The forest was not dangerous, but it felt different from the meadow. Many trunks rose around him, and deep shadows rested between them. After a while, the path became easier to see. Rose covered the lamp so that only a thin line of light escaped. Flicker flew ahead. He looked behind ferns and around tree roots. He searched the low branches and the quiet spaces above the path. No fireflies appeared. Then Flicker noticed a pale green glow beside a fallen log. A fallen log was the trunk of a tree that had come down during an old storm. The wood had grown soft with age. Moss covered its upper surface, and ferns grew around it. The glow came from several small mushrooms. Mushrooms were the visible parts of something that grew through damp soil and old wood. These mushrooms had thin stems and round caps. Their pale green light was so gentle that it could only be seen in darkness. Lily crouched at a safe distance. "They look like tiny lamps," she said. More glowing mushrooms grew on the other side of the log. A faint line of light followed a crack in the wood. Rose put out the candle in her hand lamp. Without its stronger glow, the mushrooms became easier to see. The fallen log shone softly. Flicker flew above it. His golden light mixed with the pale green glow. "Do they shine to guide someone?" he asked. "Perhaps their light is simply part of what they are," Rose replied. Flicker considered her answer. His own light helped him speak to other fireflies. It also showed Lily and Rose where he was. Yet he did not have to choose a single reason for shining. The mushrooms did not seem concerned about being useful. They glowed quietly because that was their nature. A small brown owl landed on a branch above the log. The owl had soft feathers, large eyes, and a short curved beak. Her wings made almost no sound when she moved through the air. "I am Willow, welcome." Rose and Lily greeted her. Flicker flew closer to the branch. "Have you seen fireflies?" Willow blinked slowly. "I have sometimes seen them near the western side of the forest. The ground there has become dry this summer, so they may have traveled farther west." "Where does the path lead?" "It leads to Star Hill," Willow replied. "Beyond the hill you will find a river." Flicker felt a fresh spark of hope. Perhaps the missing fireflies had gone to the river. They thanked Willow for her help. Before leaving, they rested beside the glowing log. Lily and Rose shared one of the apples from Thomas. Flicker drank a tiny drop of water from a clover leaf in the jar. They did not speak much. The forest's quiet light invited silence. When they continued, Willow guided them as far as the western path. Her pale feathers appeared and disappeared between the branches. Soon, silver moonlight became visible ahead. The trees grew farther apart. The travelers stepped out of Fernwood and into an open field. Their light was hidden from most of the world, but it shone all the same. Chapter 7. The Stars Above the Hill. The hill was not steep, but it was broad. Short grass covered its sides. Small purple flowers grew between patches of stone. No trees blocked the view from its top. Rose suggested that they rest before climbing. She sat on a flat rock and rubbed one knee.
Lily offered her the wooden cup, and Rose drank a little water. Flicker became concerned.
"Are you too tired?" "I am tired, but we can rest." They remained beside the rock until Rose felt ready. Then they began climbing. Lily held her grandmother's hand on the rough parts of the path. Rose used her walking stick for balance. Flicker flew just ahead, lighting small stones that might have been difficult to see. The climb took time. No one hurried. As they rose higher, more of the countryside appeared behind them. First, they could see the roof of Fernwood.
Then the orchard came into view. Farther away, Moonwater Pond reflected a thin piece of the moon. At last, they reached the top. The summit of Star Hill was wide and nearly level. A circle of smooth stones marked a safe resting place away from the steeper sides. Lily spread the blue blanket inside the circle. They sat together. From the hilltop, the countryside looked calm and open. The orchard lanterns formed a short golden line. Moonwater Pond looked like a piece of silver glass. The windows of distant cottages glowed softly. Above everything stretched a sky filled with stars. Without the trees around them, the sky seemed much larger than before. Flicker rose a little way into the air. The stars surrounded him from one side of the horizon to the other. "There are so many," he whispered. Grandmother Rose pointed toward a group of 7 bright stars. "People call that group the Great Bear," she explained. "Long ago, travelers used patterns of stars to guide them." Flicker looked carefully. The stars did not form the shape of a real bear. The shape was something people imagined by drawing lines between the lights in their minds. "Are the stars close?" "They look close, but they are far."
"Then each star is alone. Each star has its own place," Rose said. "That is not always the same as being alone." Flicker landed on Rose's walking stick. He thought about the difference. From the meadow, Flicker had believed he was the only light. From Star Hill, he could see many lights separated by fields, trees, water, and sky. The pond's silver reflection was far from the orchard lanterns. The glowing mushrooms were hidden beneath the forest trees.
The cottage windows stood miles from the stars. Yet from the hill, all those lights belonged to one peaceful view.
Lily lay back on the blanket. "The darkness helps us see them," she said. Flicker looked at her. "What do you mean? If the whole sky were bright, the stars would be hidden. If the whole countryside were bright, we might not notice the little lanterns." Flicker looked around again. The darkness had always seemed empty to him. Now it seemed more like a soft background that allowed each light to be seen.
A streak of brightness crossed the sky. It appeared suddenly and vanished a moment later.
Lily sat up. "A shooting star." Rose explained that it was a small piece of stone moving high above the earth. It grew bright as it passed through the air. Flicker continued looking at the place where it had disappeared. The shooting star's light had lasted only a moment. Still, all 3 travelers had seen it. That brief light had filled them with wonder. "My light is small," Flicker said. "So was the shooting star from where we stood," Lily replied.
"But we noticed it." They remained on the hill until the moon moved farther west. Then Rose pointed toward a dark ribbon crossing the land below. "That is Quiet River," she said. "Willow told us that fireflies may have gone west. The river is the next place we should search." Flicker's light brightened. They folded the blanket and began their careful walk down the other side of Star Hill. The stars remained above them. They were separated by great distances, but their lights reached the same quiet world. Chapter 8. The Lights of Quiet River. The river was wider than Moonwater Pond. It moved slowly between 2 grassy banks. Willow trees leaned over the water, and their long branches almost touched the surface. A wooden bridge crossed the river. The bridge had strong rails on both sides and thick boards beneath the travelers' feet. It had been built so that people, animals, and small carts could cross safely. Before stepping onto it, Rose checked the first board with her walking stick. The wood was firm. They walked to the center and stopped. From there, they could see the river curving through the countryside. Moonlight rested upon the moving water. Every small wave carried the reflection for a moment before passing it to the next.
Flicker searched beneath the bridge. He examined the grasses along both banks. He flew around the willow branches. No fireflies appeared. Then Lily noticed a group of lights moving around the bend. The lights floated slowly above the river. Flicker hurried toward them. Lily and Rose followed along the bridge until they reached the western bank. As the lights came closer, the travelers saw 3 small boats. Each boat was a narrow wooden vessel with 2 oars. An oar was a long pole with a flat end. A person could push the flat end through the water to move the boat. A covered lamp hung at the front of each vessel. The lamp sent warm reflections across the river. Families from a nearby village sat in the boats. They were returning home after visiting friends farther upstream. The people spoke quietly so their voices would not disturb the sleeping countryside. One child saw Flicker. A firefly! Flicker hovered beside the nearest lamp. His own light looked very small, but its reflection danced upon the water beside the reflection of the lamp. When the boats had passed, the river became quiet again. Rose led Lily and Flicker along the western bank. They soon reached a patch of pale flowers. The flowers grew close to the water. Each one had 5 white petals surrounding a yellow center. During the day, the petals curled inward. At night, they opened to reflect the moonlight. "These are moonflowers," Rose explained. "The flowers did not make their own light. Their pale petals collected the light from the sky and returned it." Flicker moved from one flower to another. From a distance, the blossoms looked like still white stars resting among the grass. A snail climbed one of the stems. The snail had a soft body and a round brown shell. A thin trail of moisture shone behind it. The trail caught Flicker's light and formed a golden line on the leaf. Flicker laughed with delight. Even the snail carries light behind him. "The light comes from you," Lily said. "But I could not see the trail without it," Flicker replied. "Perhaps lights can help one another." At that moment, he noticed a quick green flash near the reeds. His heart began to beat faster. He flew toward it. The flash appeared again. It came from a tiny insect sitting on a broad leaf. The creature had a dark shell and 2 long feelers. A green light glowed near its head. Flicker landed nearby. "Are you a firefly?" "I am a glow beetle, Moss." Flicker tried not to show his disappointment. Moss noticed anyway. "You are searching for your own kind," the glow beetle said. "Have you seen any?" Moss moved his feelers thoughtfully. "2 nights ago, I saw several golden lights crossing the old mill field. They were flying north." "Where is the mill field?" Moss pointed beyond the river. "Follow the bank until you reach a narrow footpath. The path passes an empty watermill and leads to a field of tall grass." Hope filled Flicker once more. "Were you certain they were fireflies?" "They flew like fireflies," Moss replied. "Their lights were warm and golden." Flicker's light became so bright that the nearby moonflowers shone yellow instead of white. They thanked Moss. Before leaving, Rose sat beside the river to rest. Lily placed the open glass jar near Flicker. "You should rest too," she said. For once, Flicker did not refuse. He entered the jar and settled among the fresh clover leaves. Lily carried it carefully, leaving the lid open. They followed the bank while quiet river moved beside them. The moonflowers, boat lamps, wet snail trail, and green glow of moss remained behind. Ahead, an old watermill waited in the darkness. Beyond, it might be the golden lights Flicker had searched for all his life. Chapter 9. The Field Beyond the Mill. Lily carried the jar with both hands. Flicker rested inside it, saving his strength. Grandmother Rose walked beside her, placing her stick carefully upon the uneven ground. At last, a dark building appeared among the willow trees. It was the old watermill. A watermill was a building that once used the moving river to turn a great wooden wheel. The wheel powered heavy stones inside the building. Those stones ground grain into flour. The mill had not been used for many years. Its stone walls were still strong, but ivy covered its roof. The great wooden wheel stood motionless beside the river. Ferns grew between its lower boards. Rose held up the hand lamp so they could see the path. They walked around the mill. Behind it stood a narrow gate. The gate opened into a field of tall grass. This was the old mill field. The grass reached Lily's knees. Seed heads nodded at the top of long stems. A gentle breeze moved across the field in slow waves. Flicker climbed out of the jar. He rested on its rim for a moment. Then he flew into the field. Lily and Rose waited near the gate. They did not want their footsteps to disturb any small creatures hidden in the grass. Flicker searched the nearest patch. Nothing moved. He flew farther. A moth rose from a stem and disappeared into the darkness. A grasshopper shifted beneath a leaf. No golden light answered. Flicker continued until Lily and Rose looked very small behind him. He stopped. The field was quiet. Perhaps Moss had seen lantern reflections. Perhaps the golden lights had already moved on. Perhaps Flicker had arrived too late. His hope began to fade. Then a light flashed near the far side of the field. Flicker stared at it. The light vanished. He waited. A warm golden glow flashed again. Flicker's wings trembled. He answered with his own light. Once, twice. For a moment, nothing happened. Then 2 golden lights appeared. A third rose above the grass. 5 more answered from a low hollow near the field's northern edge. Flicker could not speak. All around him, tiny lights began to wake. They rose slowly from the grass. Some were pale gold. Others were deep yellow. Each light blinked in its own gentle pattern. Fireflies filled the hollow. Flicker flew toward them. The first firefly he met was an elderly female with soft amber light. Her wings moved slowly, but her glow was warm and steady. "I am Ember. Who are you?" "I am Flicker." Ember's eyes widened. "Clover Meadow? I remember that place." More fireflies gathered around them. A young firefly named Spark flew quick circles over Flicker's head. 2 sisters, Gleam and Glimmer, rested together on a blade of grass. A quiet firefly named Lantern shone from beneath a daisy leaf. Flicker looked from one golden light to another. "I thought I was the last." Ember came closer. "You are not the last. Why did everyone leave?" Ember's light slowed as she remembered. "Several dry summers changed the stream," she explained. "There were fewer damp places for our young ones. Many families followed the water west. Some settled near the river. Others found this field." Flicker looked around the hollow. Dew covered the grass. A narrow spring flowed along one side. The field offered shade, water, and shelter. "I was too young to remember anyone leaving," he said. "That is why you believed you were alone," Ember replied. Lily and Rose had seen the lights rising. They walked slowly toward the hollow and stopped at its edge. Ember became cautious when she saw them. Flicker hurried to explain. "This is Lily, and this is Grandmother Rose. They crossed the countryside to help me find you." The fireflies studied the 2 humans. Lily sat quietly in the grass. Rose lowered her hand lamp so its flame would not hide the smaller lights. "Glad to meet you." One by one, the fireflies moved closer. Soon golden lights surrounded Lily and Rose. Some rested on the blue blanket. Others landed upon Rose's walking stick. Spark perched on the edge of the glass jar and admired the clover leaves inside. Flicker flew above them all. His light had never shone so brightly. Even so, his joy was not only about finding other fireflies. During the journey, he had discovered many lights. The pond had held the moon. Lanterns had guided the orchard path. Mushrooms had glowed beneath sleeping trees. Stars had filled the sky. Boats and flowers had brightened the river. Now he understood that the world had never been empty. Ember invited the travelers to remain until dawn. They rested in the sheltered hollow. The fireflies told Flicker stories of their families. Flicker told them about the old stone, the clover flowers, and the narrow stream in his meadow. "Is it still beautiful?" "It is, but very quiet." Ember considered his words. "Perhaps we should visit." Flicker looked at her in wonder.
"All of you?"
"If the meadow welcomes us." Grandmother Rose knew how they could help. "We can make certain that the stream remains clean," she said. "We can leave the meadow grass long near the water. We can also ask the villagers to keep bright lamps away from the nesting places." The fireflies approved of this plan. As morning approached, the eastern sky became pale. Ember showed Flicker a sheltered place beneath a thick patch of grass. Lily and Rose lay on the blue blanket nearby. They would all sleep through the day. When the next evening came, they would travel together to Clover Meadow. Flicker closed his eyes beneath a leaf. Around him rested more golden lights than he had ever imagined. For the first time in his life, he slept among his own kind. Chapter 10. Clover Meadow shines again. The sunlight faded from the tall grass. Cool shadows gathered near the spring. One by one, the fireflies woke beneath the leaves. Lily and Grandmother Rose folded the blue blanket. They shared the second apple and the last pieces of bread. Rose poured the remaining water into the wooden cup.
The journey home was about to begin. Ember gathered the fireflies near the field gate. There were more than Flicker could count. Some were old and slow, others were young and eager. A few had never traveled beyond the mill field. Rose explained the path carefully. They would follow Quiet River to Star Hill. They would pass around Fernwood because the way through the trees was narrow. After crossing Apple Orchard, they would rest at Moonwater Pond. From there, the stream would lead them into Clover Meadow. Everyone began together. Flicker flew near the front beside Ember. Spark moved from one side of the group to the other. Gleam and Glimmer stayed close to the younger fireflies. Lily and Rose walked beneath them. The riverbank glowed as the travelers passed. Moss, the green glow beetle, watched from his broad leaf. "You found them?" "We did." Moss joined the group for a short distance. His green light looked beautiful among the golden lights. When he reached his home near the moonflowers, he wished them a safe journey. The group continued toward Star Hill. From the lower path, the climb seemed long. Rose was tired after the night before, so they chose a gentle route around the hill. Even without reaching the summit, they could see the stars above it. Flicker remembered what Rose had told him. The stars seemed close together, but great distances lay between them. Each kept its own place while sharing the same sky. At the edge of Fernwood, Willow the owl appeared. She flew silently above the travelers. The field held the answer. It held many answers. Willow guided them along the forest's outer path. Between the trees, the glowing mushrooms remained on the fallen log. Their pale green light welcomed the golden travelers. Soon the trees gave way to Apple Orchard. Thomas had left the gate open. He had also hung his lanterns along the grassy lane. The fireflies drifted among them. The steady candlelight and blinking golden lights filled the orchard together. Thomas stood beside the oldest apple tree and watched them pass. "Welcome, little lights." Flicker rested for a moment on the handle of Thomas's smallest lantern. "Every light has a purpose," Thomas smiled, "and every traveler may find one." The fireflies left the orchard and followed the stone wall toward Moonwater Pond. By now, the moon stood high in the sky. The pond held its silver reflection. Fish flashed beneath the water. Dew made the spiderweb between the reeds shine. The frog sat on his smooth stone. He gave a surprised croak when he saw the golden cloud approaching. "You found your family." "I found friends." The fireflies rested among the reeds. Their golden lights appeared beside the water's silver light. The two colors moved together whenever the breeze touched the pond. After everyone had rested, the travelers began the final part of the journey. They followed the narrow stream. The land became familiar to Flicker. He recognized a bent willow branch. He recognized 3 white stones in the water. He recognized the first patch of clover beside the path. Then the meadow opened before him. Clover Meadow was dark and peaceful. The old stone waited near its center. The cottage stood at the eastern edge with its windows closed. Flicker flew ahead. He circled the old stone once. Then he landed upon the soft green moss. "I am home," he whispered. Ember came to rest beside him. "It is a beautiful home." The other fireflies entered the meadow. At first they stayed near the stream. They explored the damp grasses and the sheltered places beneath the clover. Rose had cared for the meadow well, so they found many safe places. Soon they spread across the open land. Golden lights rose above the clover. One light appeared near the old stone. Another blinked beside the stream. 3 more drifted near the white flowers. Lily and Rose stood at the meadow's edge. The scene before them was quiet, warm and bright. Rose remembered the summer nights of her childhood. She remembered sitting at the garden gate with her sister. For a moment, the years between those nights and this one seemed to disappear. "It is just as you described it," Lily said. Rose placed an arm around her shoulders. "It is," she replied. "Perhaps it is even more beautiful because we know how easily a light can be overlooked." During the following days, Lily and Rose cared for the meadow. They placed small wooden signs beside the stream. The signs asked visitors to walk only on the old paths. This protected the damp grasses where young fireflies might live. Thomas spoke to the villagers about outdoor lamps. People agreed to cover bright lights at night and point them toward the ground. That way, the fireflies could see one another clearly. Children visited the cottage in the early evening. Lily taught them how to watch without catching the fireflies. She explained that a glass jar should only be used as a resting place, never as a prison. As summer continued, more fireflies arrived. Some came from the old mill field. Others followed Quiet River from distant places.
Clover Meadow became a safe resting place between their homes.
Flicker was no longer the only golden light above the clover, yet he still visited the old stone every evening. It reminded him of the nights when he had searched alone. Those memories were sad, but they were also important. They helped him notice any creature who seemed lonely. One evening, Flicker found a young moth resting beside the stream. The moth had lost sight of her family in the tall grass. She was frightened and did not know which way to fly. Flicker stayed beside her.
He called Spark, Gleam, and Glimmer. Together they formed a line of golden lights above the stream. The moth followed them safely to the willow tree where her family waited. When Flicker returned to the old stone, Lily was sitting on the blue blanket. "You helped someone find the way," she said. "I knew how it felt to be alone." The moon rose above the eastern hill. Its silver light touched the stream, the clover, and the distant cottage roof. The orchard lanterns glowed beyond the meadow. Hidden mushrooms shone in fernwood. Moonflowers opened beside Quiet River. Far above them all, the stars filled the sky. Flicker could not see every light from where he rested. He knew they were there. That knowledge brought him peace. He had once believed that only a light like his own could end his loneliness. His journey had taught him something gentler and larger. Some lights were warm and golden, some were green and hidden, some were carried by water. Some were reflected by flowers, some lasted for many years. Some crossed the sky for only a moment. Every light brightened its own small part of the world. Every light could guide, comfort, welcome, or awaken wonder. As night grew deeper, the fireflies gathered above Clover Meadow. Their lights blinked in a slow and peaceful rhythm. Lily leaned against her grandmother. Rose placed the blue blanket around them both. Neither of them spoke. The meadow did not need words. The stream made a soft sound among the stones. Crickets sang beneath the grass. Leaves whispered along the distant hedge. Flicker rose above the old stone. He looked across the meadow and saw golden lights surrounding him. He looked toward the cottage and saw Lily and Rose sitting together. He looked up and saw the stars. At last he understood where his place was. His place was not only a point above the clover, it was beside those who cared for him. It was among those he could care for in return. Flicker flashed his light once. Hundreds of golden lights answered. The meadow shone beneath the quiet sky, and the whole sleeping countryside seemed to breathe around it. Flicker was not the last light. He had never truly been the last light. He had only needed kind friends, a patient journey, and enough darkness to discover how many lights were already shining. With that comforting thought, he joined the gentle dance above the clover. The moon watched over the pond. The orchard lanterns guarded their path. The mushrooms glowed beneath the trees. The river carried silver reflections toward the distant hills. And in Clover Meadow, where one lonely light had once searched through the night, many quiet lights now shone together until morning. The end.